Welcome to my channel Althera Health. What if I told you that the condition your doctor said you'd have for life might not be permanent at all? What if the pills you've been taking every morning, every night, the ones you were told you'd depend on forever, were never actually fixing the root problem? And what if your body has been trying to heal itself this whole time, but something in your daily routine has been silently stopping it? Hypertension, high blood pressure, is often called the silent killer. Not because it strikes loudly, but because it builds quietly day after day, year after year, until one moment everything changes. A stroke, a heart attack, a sudden collapse, and the scariest part. Most people never saw it coming. But here's something even more surprising. Many people don't actually have a disease that needs lifelong medication. They have a body that has adapted to stress, to poor circulation, to inflammation, to lifestyle patterns that slowly push their blood pressure higher and higher. And when you understand that, everything changes. Because adaptation can be reversed. Let me explain. Imagine your blood vessels like soft, flexible tubes. When you're young and healthy, they expand easily. They relax. They respond to your body's needs. But over time, with stress, poor sleep, processed foods, too much salt, too little movement, those vessels begin to stiffen. They become tighter, narrower, less responsive, so your heart has to push harder. And that pressure keeps rising. Now here's the part most doctors don't fully explain. Medication can lower your numbers, but it often doesn't restore your vessel flexibility. It doesn't retrain your nervous system. It doesn't remove the daily triggers that caused the problem in the first place. So the condition stays just managed, but your body still remembers how to heal. And there are people, real people, who have seen their blood pressure return to normal ranges, not overnight, not magically, but naturally, by changing specific habits that target the root cause. Not extreme diets, not impossible routines, but small, consistent shifts. Let me tell you about something simple, something almost too simple, your morning. The first 30 to 60 minutes after you wake up are one of the most critical windows for your cardiovascular system. Because this is when your body experiences something called the morning surge. Your blood pressure naturally rises as your body wakes up. Your heart rate increases, your stress hormones spike. And if your system is already under strain, that spike becomes dangerous. Now think about what most people do in that moment. They wake up, check their phone immediately, flooding their brain with stress, news, messages, notifications. They rush out of bed, drink strong tea or coffee on an empty stomach, skip hydration, and jump straight into a high-alert state. What does that do? It amplifies the pressure. It tells your body, be on edge, be tense, be ready for stress, and your blood vessels respond accordingly by tightening. Now imagine doing the opposite. You wake up slowly, you sit up instead of jumping. You drink a glass of water, allowing your blood to flow more easily. You take a few deep, controlled breaths, and you give your nervous system a signal. You are safe, you are calm, you are in control. That alone can start lowering your baseline pressure over time. But this is just the beginning, because there's something even more powerful, something most people ignore completely. Your breathing, yes, something you've been doing your entire life automatically, but rarely correctly. Shallow, fast breathing, which is very common in people with hypertension, keeps your body in a mild stress state. It activates your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. That means tighter blood vessels, higher heart rate, increased pressure. But slow, deep, nasal breathing does the opposite. It activates your parasympathetic system, the rest and repair mode. And when that system is active, your vessels relax, your heart slows. Your pressure drops. Even just 5 minutes of slow breathing can begin to shift your internal state. Now imagine doing that daily, not as a chore, but as a habit. This is how reversal begins, not with something dramatic, but with something consistent. And then there's movement, not intense workouts, not exhausting routines, just walking. one of the most underrated tools for lowering blood pressure. Because walking doesn't just burn calories. It improves circulation. It trains your blood vessels to expand and contract properly. It reduces stress hormones, and over time, it teaches your cardiovascular system to operate more efficiently. But here's where many people go wrong. They think more is better. So they push too hard, they overexert, and instead of helping their heart, they stress it further. The key is rhythm, gentle, steady daily movement, even 20 to 30 minutes, can create a noticeable difference over weeks. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you: salt. For years, people have been told that salt is the enemy. And yes, excessive salt can raise blood pressure, but the real issue is balance. Because when you reduce salt too aggressively, without improving potassium intake, you can actually disrupt your body's natural fluid balance. And that can keep your pressure unstable. The real focus should be on natural foods. Fruits, vegetables, whole sources of nutrients that help your body regulate itself. Because your body is not broken, it's responding, always responding, to what you eat, how you sleep, how you think, how you move. And this brings us to something deeper: stress, not just obvious stress, but chronic, low-level stress, the kind that sits quietly in the background. Deadlines, financial worries, family pressures, unspoken tension. Your body doesn't ignore it, it carries it every single day. And that constant signal keeps your system in a state of alert, which means higher pressure, tighter vessels, more strain on your heart. So when we talk about reversing hypertension, we're not just talking about food or exercise. We're talking about your entire internal environment, your daily patterns, your reactions, your habits, because healing is not a single action. It's a direction, and once you start moving in that direction, even slowly, your body begins to follow. But here's the truth most people don't hear: reversal is possible for many, but it requires awareness, consistency, and patience. This is not about throwing away your medication overnight. This is not about ignoring medical advice. This is about working with your body, so that over time, with the right changes, your dependence may reduce, your numbers may improve, and your system may stabilize in a way you didn't think was possible. And in the next part, we're going to go deeper into the hidden triggers, the everyday habits that are silently keeping your blood pressure high, without you even realizing it. Because once you see them, you can change them, and that is where real transformation begins. What if the real reason your blood pressure hasn't improved isn't because your body is failing, but because something in your daily life is quietly working against you every single day, without you even noticing? Because here's the truth: hypertension is rarely caused by one big mistake. It's built slowly through small patterns, repeated over and over again. And the most dangerous ones are the ones that feel normal. Let me show you what I mean. Think about how you spend your day. Not the big moments, but the small, automatic ones. The way you sit, the way you eat, the way you react, the way you think. Because these micro-habits are shaping your blood pressure more than you realize. Let's start with something simple, something almost invisible: sitting. Most people today spend hours sitting at a desk, on a couch, in a car, and it doesn't feel harmful. It feels normal, but inside your body, something very different is happening. When you sit for long periods, your circulation slows down. Blood begins to pool in certain areas. Your vessels become less responsive. And your heart has to work harder to push blood through a system that isn't actively supporting it. Now imagine this: day after day, month after month, year after year. Your body adapts, but not in a good way. your baseline pressure starts to rise. Not because something is wrong, but because your body is adjusting to a low-movement lifestyle. And the solution, it's not complicated, it's not extreme, it's interruption. Standing up every 30 to 60 minutes, stretching, walking, even for a minute or two. These small interruptions act like a reset button for your circulation. They remind your blood vessels how to function properly. And over time, they reduce the constant strain on your heart. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk about something people rarely connect to blood pressure: your thoughts. Yes, your thoughts, because your brain doesn't separate emotional stress from physical danger. If you're constantly worrying, overthinking, replaying negative situations, your body reacts as if something is wrong right now. Stress hormones rise, your heart rate increases, your vessels tighten, and your blood pressure follows. Now imagine living like that every day, even when nothing dangerous is actually happening. This is what chronic mental stress does. It keeps your system stuck in a loop. And breaking that loop doesn't require you to eliminate stress completely. That's not realistic, but it does require awareness. Catching the moment, when your thoughts start spiraling, interrupting it. Shifting your focus even slightly, because even a small mental shift can create a physical change. Now here's something even more powerful: sleep. Not just how long you sleep, but how well you sleep. Because during deep sleep, your body repairs your blood vessels. It resets your nervous system. It lowers your heart rate and pressure naturally. But if your sleep is broken, too short, or constantly interrupted, your body misses that repair window. And over time, your pressure stays elevated, even during the day. Many people think they have a blood pressure problem, when in reality, they have a sleep problem. Late night screen use, irregular sleep schedules, heavy meals before bed. All of these quietly disrupt your recovery, and your body pays the price. Now let's talk about food again, but from a different angle. Timing, not just what you eat, but when you eat, because your body follows a rhythm, a natural clock. And when you eat late at night, especially heavy or processed meals, your system stays active when it should be resting. Your heart keeps working, your digestion continues. Your blood pressure doesn't get the chance to drop naturally. And this, repeated over time, keeps your baseline higher than it should be. Now imagine shifting that pattern, eating earlier, allowing your body to rest at night, giving your system a break. These are not extreme changes, but they are powerful, because they align your body with how it's designed to function. And then there's something most people underestimate completely: hydration. Your blood is largely made of water, and when you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, harder to circulate, which means your heart has to push harder, which means higher pressure. And yet, so many people go through their day drinking very little water, replacing it with tea, coffee, sugary drinks, without realizing the impact. Even mild dehydration can keep your system under strain. Now think about how simple the solution is. A glass of water in the morning, another midday, another in the evening, not excessive, just consistent. And yet the effect can be significant over time. Now here's something deeper, something emotional, something many people don't want to admit: control. The need to control everything, to plan everything, to worry about every possible outcome. This constant mental tension creates physical tension. Your body mirrors your mind. Tight thoughts create tight muscles, tight vessels, higher pressure. Learning to let go, even a little, is not weakness, it's regulation. It's giving your body permission to relax, to recover, to function normally again. And this is where real change begins, not just in what you do, but in how you live. Because hypertension is not just a number, it's a signal. A message from your body that something needs to shift. And when you start listening to that message, instead of just suppressing it, everything begins to change. Slowly, but powerfully, and in the next part, we're going to uncover something even more surprising. Specific daily habits that seem healthy, but may actually be keeping your blood pressure high. Hidden patterns that most people never question until it's too late. But once you see them, you can change them. And that's when your body finally gets the chance to do what it was always designed to do. Heal. By now, you've probably started to see something clearly. This isn't just about a condition, it's about patterns. Patterns that feel harmless, but quietly shape your health every single day. And now, we're going to uncover something even more surprising. Habits that many people believe are healthy, but in reality, may be keeping their blood pressure stuck or even pushing it higher. Let's start with something almost everyone trusts: over-exercising. Yes, exercise is powerful. Movement is essential. But there's a very important line that most people don't recognize. Because when you push your body too hard, too often, without proper recovery, your system doesn't adapt positively. It becomes stressed. Your cortisol levels stay elevated. Your heart is constantly under pressure. Your nervous system doesn't get a chance to reset. And instead of lowering your blood pressure, you keep it elevated. This is especially common in people who suddenly decide to fix everything. They go from no activity to intense workouts every day. Long sessions, high intensity, no rest. It feels productive, it feels like progress. But inside the body, it's chaos because your system needs rhythm, not punishment. Consistency, not extremes. Sometimes a calm walk is more powerful than an intense workout. Because it tells your body, you're safe, you're stable. You don't need to stay in fight mode. Now here's another one that surprises many people. Too much caffeine, tea, coffee, energy drinks. They're part of daily life. And in moderation, they can be fine. But when consumed frequently, especially on an empty stomach, or during stress, they amplify your internal state. Your heart rate rises, your vessels tighten, your pressure spikes. Now imagine this happening multiple times a day. Morning coffee, afternoon tea, evening pick-me-up. Your system never fully relaxes. It stays slightly elevated all day long, and over time, that slight elevation becomes your normal. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk about something emotional again: suppression. Not expressing what you feel, holding things in, staying silent when something bothers you. Smiling when inside you feel pressure. Your body doesn't ignore that, it stores it. And that internal pressure often shows up physically: tension in the chest, tightness in the neck, shallow breathing, and yes, higher blood pressure. Because emotions are not just in your mind, they live in your body. And when they're not released, they build. Now here's something even more subtle. Being constantly busy. Always doing something, always rushing. Always feeling like there's no time. This creates a constant background stress. Even if you don't feel anxious, your body does, your system stays activated. Your heart works harder, your vessels remain tight, and slowly, your baseline pressure increases. Now imagine the opposite: moments of stillness, even just a few minutes of doing nothing. No phone, no noise, no urgency, just breathing, just being. It may feel uncomfortable at first because you're not used to it. But over time, it becomes powerful because it resets your system. It lowers your internal pressure, and that reflects in your physical pressure. Now let's talk about food again, but not in the way you expect. Healthy packaged foods, low-fat snacks, diet-labeled products. Things marketed as good for your heart, many of them, are highly processed, loaded with hidden sodium, artificial ingredients, preservatives that your body doesn't fully recognize. And while they may look healthy on the outside, inside, they create imbalance. They confuse your system. They contribute to inflammation. And inflammation plays a major role in hypertension. Your blood vessels, when inflamed, don't function properly. They become less flexible, less responsive, more restricted. Which means higher pressure. Now compare that to simple, natural foods. Foods that your body understands. Foods that support your system. Instead of stressing it. The difference is not just nutritional, it's functional. Now here's something that might change the way you see everything. Your identity. The way you see yourself. If you constantly tell yourself, I have high blood pressure. I'm a patient. This is my condition. Your brain reinforces that state. Your behaviors align with it. Your expectations limit you. But when you shift that identity, even slightly, something changes. You begin to act differently. You begin to make choices that support healing instead of maintaining illness. This is not about denial. It's about direction, because your body responds to what you repeatedly signal. And this brings us to something very important: consistency, not perfection. Not extreme discipline, but small actions, done daily. Because the body doesn't change from one big effort. It changes from repeated signals. Drink water daily, move daily. Breathe deeply daily, sleep properly daily, manage stress daily. And slowly, your system adapts, but this time, in the right direction. Now here's the part most people miss. They try something for a few days, maybe a week, and when they don't see immediate results, they stop. They assume it's not working, but the truth is, your body took years to reach this state. It won't reverse overnight, but it will respond if you stay consistent. And when it does, the changes are real. Your energy improves. Your sleep becomes deeper. Your mind becomes calmer. And gradually, your numbers begin to shift, not forced, but natural. And in the final part, we're going to bring everything together. A simple, realistic daily flow that you can follow, not perfectly, but consistently, a way of living that supports your body instead of fighting it. And most importantly, how to stay on track, even when life gets busy. Because this is not about motivation, it's about alignment. And once you align with your body, it starts working with you instead of against you. Now everything comes together, not as a strict plan, not as something overwhelming, but as a simple flow, a way of living that your body understands, because by now you already know the truth. This was never about one pill, one food, or one habit. This is about how your entire day shapes your blood pressure. From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. So let's walk through it together, not perfectly, but realistically. Imagine tomorrow morning, you wake up not with urgency, but with awareness. Instead of jumping out of bed, you pause just for a few seconds. You let your body adjust, you sit up slowly, you take a deep breath through your nose, and exhale gently. Right there in that moment, you've already changed something. You've told your nervous system, there is no danger, there is no rush. And that alone begins to soften the morning surge. Then, before anything else, you drink a glass of water, not coffee, not tea. Just water, because after hours of sleep, your body needs hydration. Your blood needs flow, your system needs support. And this simple act makes circulation easier, reduces strain, and prepares your body for the day ahead. Then you move, not intensely, not forcefully, just gently. A short walk, a few stretches, even just walking around your room. Because movement in the morning wakes up your circulation. It signals your blood vessels to expand, to function, to support you. And then, before the world rushes in, you take a few minutes to breathe. Slow, controlled, deep breathing, in through your nose, out through your mouth, or softly through your nose. No distractions, no phone, just you and your breath. Because this is where you take control of your internal state. This is where you decide that your day will not control you. You will guide it. Now as your day begins, you don't aim for perfection, you aim for awareness. When you sit too long, you stand even briefly, when you feel tension rising. You notice it. You don't ignore it, you don't suppress it, you take a breath, you reset. Because these small interruptions prevent pressure from building inside your body and inside your mind when it comes to food. You keep it simple, not extreme. Not restrictive, just real, foods your body recognizes. Foods that support. Instead of confuse, you don't chase labels. You don't fall for marketing, you listen to your body. And most importantly, you pay attention to timing. You don't overload your system late at night. You give your body space to rest, to repair, to reset. And then there's something deeper throughout your day. You begin to notice your thoughts. Not to judge them, but to understand them. When worry starts, you catch it. When overthinking begins, you pause it, not perfectly, but intentionally. Because every time you interrupt that loop, you reduce internal stress. You lower the signals that keep your pressure high. And slowly, your baseline begins to shift. Then comes the evening. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They carry the entire day straight into the night. Screens, noise, stimulation, heavy food, late activity, and the body never gets the signal to slow down. But now you do something different. You dim the lights, you reduce stimulation. You give yourself space to unwind, because sleep is not just rest, it's repair. It's when your blood vessels recover, when your heart relaxes, when your system resets, and when you protect that time. You support your healing naturally. Now here's the most important part of all. You don't do this perfectly. You don't try to change everything overnight, because that's where most people fail. They aim too high, too fast, and burn out instead. You choose consistency. Small steps, daily actions, because real change is not dramatic, it's quiet. It's steady, it's built over time, and there will be days when you slip, when you forget, when life gets busy. That's normal, that's human, but you don't stop. You return again and again and again, because every time you return, you reinforce the direction. And your body responds to direction, not perfection. Now imagine this. Weeks pass. You feel lighter, calmer, your sleep improves, your energy stabilizes. And slowly, your numbers begin to shift, not forced, not artificial, but natural. Because your body is finally working with you, instead of fighting against you. And one day, you look back and realize you didn't just manage your blood pressure. You changed your life, and that is the difference. So if this message resonated with you, if something in this video made you think, made you pause, made you see your health differently, then don't ignore that feeling. Because awareness is where change begins. Stay connected with this channel and subscribe, because your health journey doesn't end here. It starts now.